Hello friends, it's Nicole. Welcome to a Cherry on Top YouTube Pop for July. Today we are going on an adventure, and I will be sharing with you how I set up my snap binder, actually. And this album is from Doodlebug, and I thought I'd try this with the Paige Adventurous collection. And I'm going to be working on an album for my sister. She went to London last year, and so she asked me to do an album for her, and I'm going to make one for her. So I'm going to use the 6x8 paper from the paper pad as the cover. I liked all the different postage pattern. It's fun. And I'm going to mount this right onto the Lawn Fawn adhesive sheet. And the reason why I'm using the adhesive sheet instead of like regular adhesive is because it covers the entire back of the paper. So when I put that on a cover, it won't lift. None of the ends will peel. It's going to be a very nice, smooth transfer onto the cover. I'm going to gently take that off, and I want to make sure there's a little border around the pattern, like so. And then I have the blue and white polka dot ribbon. This goes so good with the collection, and I had planned on it that way. I specifically looked for ribbon that would look nice. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this on here. Nothing fancy. And then I'm going to cut it down a little bit. And then if you wanted to glue a button to the center of the bow, you could do that. I'm just going to leave it for now. And now I'm going to use the cut apart sheet to decorate the spine and the little bookmark. And then I was going to use the Explorer, but it seems a little bit big, but we'll see. And then I like this one as well. Not necessarily the taxi, but the sentiment. So this is a little too long. So the happy little moment is going to work. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that in there. You may need another piece of paper just to kind of push it along. And then once it's in there, I'm going to grab some puffy stickers, and I'm going to decorate the book plate. I'm just kind of moving it around just to see what I want to put in there. And the flowers fit nicely in there. I'm going to go ahead and put that there and just add a few more flowers as well. And there it is. And that's it. Gonna figure out how I'm gonna decorate the album, the front. I don't want to use too much on the cover because I like the pattern, and it's already busy. So whatever I do, it has to kind of be a little simple, in my own opinion. These frames are so fun. I'm not going to use them for the cover, but I definitely want to use them on a layout. So I'm just pulling out some chipboard just to get an idea of what I want to do. I'm really not sure yet. I'm just moving them around. And I do like these little bookmark charms. So I'm going to go ahead and use these. And then I was going to tie them with a thread because I had already tied the bow on there. And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm actually going to fix that. But moving along, I'm going to go ahead and use foam stickers or foam squares to mount down the chipboard on the bottom here. And it just adds a little bit of dimension. I love the little, the buildings. It's cute. This is such a cute collection. So I took the string off, and I'm just going to go ahead and retie it so that the chipboard charms hang nicely. That looks better. And then I was going to use a sentiment, but they're kind of too big. I'm going to layer the taxi right onto the buildings here. So cute. And I still feel like I need something else. And I think I'm just going to glue this down and put it right there. So that's what we're going to do. And that's it. I'm not going to mess with it. I could spend an hour on the cover itself. Okay, And then I'm going to just add a little puffy sticker, a little heart, right there. And then let that dry. And now I'm going to decorate the inside of this book. And I'm going to use my Reverence. And I like the plane flying, so I'm going to go ahead and use those. There's 2 of them. I'm going to put one on the back of the cover of the book, and then I'm going to put one on the back, and you'll see how that goes. And then I'm just using a bone folder to get that down, and I'm being very careful to make sure I press down and I get all the images so that it transfers without any breakage. And then I'm going to cut the other plane out, and then I'm going to put that on the back here. Alright, and so I'm going to put that there and transfer this over. Isn't that cute? And this is super simple. I normally add more embellishments on the inside of the covers, but I wanted to keep it simple. I like the plane. And this plane actually broke a little bit because I didn't press down. I'm just going to cover it with a pen, and you can't even tell. So there's a little white dot, and I just covered it. And then I love all the different things you have in this book. You have pocket pages, you have pockets, and you can do so much. So what I'm going to do is take the 6x8 paper. I love this print. And I'm going to add some adhesive to the back. And then I'm going to just pop it in that pocket so that I can decorate the back. And I'm being very careful because it's adhered and I don't want to make it crooked. So be careful when you're putting it in there. And then I'm going to cut this piece of paper down. I love the green. Very pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down here. Super, super fun. And this is coming along nicely. I love this. Alright, so that's done. And now I'm just going to try and figure out what I want to add, because I want to use some chipboard to decorate that. I'm just not sure what I want to do, so I'm just going to see how this looks and glue this down. Alright, so I'm going to glue this down here, and then glue the flower. These chipboard pieces are really pretty. And then I'm going to add a little button there, and let that dry. And then I am going to look for some more papers I want to use. There's so many beautiful papers in this pad. And I like the foil, the gold foil on the white with the sentiments. So pretty. So we're going to go with that. And I'm going to cut these down to measure 3x4. And those are going to act as a mat for the pockets. And then I'm going to cut some of these images out to kind of decorate those. So I'm just going to cut the ones out that I think I might use. And I don't really have a real plan right here. I'm just cutting them out. And then I do like the tags. I was looking for something bigger, but I should have gotten a 12x12 tag sheet to cut those out. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe it was sold out, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the small ones out and use my hole punch. Okay, and I'm going to cut another one out. My goal here is to decorate 2 of the 3x4 cards, and then the other 2 will be empty. And the whole concept is, once I have pictures to put in there, and I start going through my pictures and putting them in here, I'm going to use the blank 3x4s to frame my photos. And then I'm just going to cut the photo down to measure, fit right in there. And then I'll have 2 pockets that are decorated with embellishments, and then 2 that will just have a photo. Super, super simple. Alright, so I'm going to mount that down, and I'm going to add a foam square to this one just to add dimension. And then I'm going to feed some string through. Alright. Perfect. And then I'm thinking I need a puppy sticker or something. So I'm going to put the camera on here and then the sentiment. And that's good. And then I'm going to add another string to the other tag. Just keeping it simple, but I find that little touches here and there makes the album pop. And I love playing with embellishment. These sleeves, I couldn't figure out where to put them, because the opening is on the side, not the top. So remember that if you get the Doodlebug album. Okay, and then I'm just adding some more stickers here and some rubber ones. Trying to figure out what to do with this. I like the little bike, and I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And I'm just being very careful to make sure I cover all the area with the bone folder so it doesn't peel. And then I got the arrow, and I'll put that there. And then I was going to add another tag to the top to kind of fill in the white space there. But this didn't work out as well, because I think I put too much adhesive on the back, and it wasn't giving any space to do, because I really wanted to tuck that in there, but it didn't work. But that's okay. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to fuss. And I love this green print paper, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 3x4. That's going to be a mat for a photo. So what I'll do is take a 3x4 photo, trim it down a little bit, just so that there's a nice edge with that paper. And the same as this for this one. So you'll have 2 photos on there and 2 decorated sleeves. And now I'm going to go ahead and add another piece of paper, the pattern paper, to the back of that page. I like the white divider pages. They're fun. They're nice. It's a nice quality too. I'm going to add that in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find a pattern paper, and I'm going to add some adhesive to it and put that through that page pocket. And I like to set these albums up first, and then I go back and I print my pictures, and then I create my layouts. Because it takes me a good hour and 20 minutes just to set this album up, which is well worth the time, because it's going to turn out beautifully for my sister. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and put that down here. And then I'm just going to see what I can decorate that with. There's so many great embellishments in this collection, but I want to be careful what I use, because I'm going to be doing a few 6x8 pages, and I'll be adding some more pocket pages as well. So I want to save my embellishments for when I actually make my pages. And then I was going to put some puffy stickers on here, but felt like it was a little too much, but it still needs something. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to glue this down just to fill in some of the space. And I like the pink with the flowers. And then I wanted to add a button somewhere else between the 2 of these pages. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I never know when to leave something alone. So I'm going to add the border sticker behind the pocket here. There's a little bit of blue in the flowers, and so I'm just pulling that out. And then I'm going to use the button here. I'm going to take the adhesive off that button just so that I can remove some of the dimension, because this album is already going to be chunky. I don't really want to add any more to it. So there we go. I'm going to glue that down. And I'm going to find another pattern paper that I want to use. And I'm going to put that down here. So once this is all set up, I'm going to put my pictures, and I'm just going to whip the pages out. I'm going to knock them out. It doesn't take me long to throw those pictures on there and create those small 6x8 layouts. This takes me the longest time, but I do enjoy the process, and my sister is going to love it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in there. Okay, and then I'm going to cut another print to go along that pocket. So I'm going to cut this down to, I think, 2.5 inches. It's 8 by 2.5 inches, and I'm going to mount that down. Okay, and put that down here. And then I'm going to find another print. I like this floral print, and I think I'm going to maybe make a layout right on the page here, using that as the background. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and cover the dividing page here, making sure that it has the border. And there are my pages. The album is set, ready for me to put some pictures in there and make some 6x8 layout. If you're a current subscriber, be sure to check out my YouTube videos in July, sometime in the middle of the month. I'll be sharing my process videos for the layouts. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And thanks so much for visiting, and take care.